This is day 599 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Like sponsor coming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. It's going to be directly very greatly appreciated. So here we're doing Siman Shin Nun Daled, Sif Aleph, to Shin Nun Hey, Hey. Shin Nun Daled. Odini Bor Vashba Shusarabi. Logos of a pit or a garbage dump in Shusarabi. Aleph Bor Shusarabi Omid Semel Shusyachi. A bor which is in Shusarabi but is adjacent to Shusyachi. But Bor Amok Asar Rocha Barba. The bor is the dimensions of Shusyachi, 10 deep, 4 by 4. Muta Talto Mitocho Shusyachi, allowed to carry from within it to Shusyachi. The Mishus Yachid, the Shus Yachid, because it came from one Shus Yachid to another Shus Yachid. The same Rabusa calls no Krishnis whatsoever. I feel a bor in a mamash is Shus Yachid, but even the bor is not precisely next to Shus Yachid. Many Arbatolim is not more than 4 fucking away. Muta Tata Menu Shus Yachid, allowed to carry from it to the Shus Yachid. Muta Malos Mi Menu Maim, Lachnis, and for border in the bor to bring it to the house. Five forgot the Mamsi Shus Rami name, even though Shus Rami between them. I came to the Mokum Rochav Arba since this is not for fucking wide, for Ben Abor, Ben Rabim, and it's I think it's typo. It should be Ben Abor, Ben Yachid. Between the bor and the Shus Yachid, Lo Nichel Rabim Mishlam Mishlam. It's not easy for the masses to use that part of the Shus Rabim. Came to Pachas Mi Arba, I have a Mokum tour, and this is lesson for it. Therefore, it's a Mokum tour. Well, so that part of Shus Rabim is like cut off and comes some Mokum tour unto itself. But when there is a gap of 4th Vachim between the Shus Yachid and the bor, I have also Mokum Shus Rabim, then that gap is the Shus Rabim. And you're forbidden to deliberately carry from one Shus Yachid to another Shus Yachid over Shus Rabim. Only because of Bizarre Kismei Kodesh, which we allow such things. Not other things because we're afraid might fall into Shus Rabim, and then you might carry 4 amos in the Shus Rabim, or take it from the Shus Rabim into Shus Yachid. So what can you do? The only thing you can do is make a rim around the bor. That the rim should be 10 fucking high. So then the bucket is going from the Shus Yachid of the bor to the Shus Yachid of the house through a Makam Tur because it's above 10 fucking. The Mahamura have a Makam Tur. The Yeshua Shazo Davkuk Shomin a bor connected to Shus Yachid with Tzad Arukh HaShulchan. This is only when the bor is opposite the Shus Yachid towards the other side of the Shus Rabim. But if they are in sequence on one side of the Shus Rabim, Yeshkan is the Torah, it's the rice of Moshim Shus Yachid. There Shus Rabim, as we find in the Krushim in the Mishkan, that they extended them from one Shus Yachid to another Shus Yachid through Shus Rabim. I feel a mom sorry, even if it's about 10 fachim, it's not permitted. Which Rabnu B'Simin Shimon Vav Siv Gimel. Zeu Shalol Lefi Ashita Shmer Rishon Moshe Rabbi Davka Chaver Ayin Sham. This is since it's one person doing the drawing of the water. It's not going like the Shita, which he brought down there, that it's only motion is only from one person to another person. According to this, when you bring the water to Shus Yachid, you have to bring it through a window, which is 4 to 10 tefachim high. So even though the window below 10 tefachim is also bringing the Shus Yachid, but you want to go completely through a Makam Tur, so it has to go. Everything has to be above 10 tefachim. Gimel da, you should know this. That's what requires the wind to be 10 tefachim. So kadesh that was an order that when you actually were carrying the bucket, it should be above 10 tefachim in the airspace between the rim of the bor and Rosh Yachid. Aval English should have bor Rosh Yachid, but in terms of the bor being Rosh Yachid, I think bor hatzmo muka asar b'tzir fachuya. Even if the bor is only 10 tefachim together with the rim, have a bor b'fnim Rosh Yachid. The inside bor Rosh Yachid. Kachamur Gemara. It says explicitly Gemara bor v'chuyasa. A bor and its rim. Mitzdarfim asar join up for 10 tefachim. Afagad michutz labor, even outside the bor, din hachuya even that same rim, if on the inside it makes up a wall 10 fachim, on the outside it makes up a wall of less than 10 fachim, because the bore is what completes its 10 fachim. So on the outside it's a karmelish, that was inside the bore, it is still Rishus Yachid. If somebody fills up from that bore into Rishus Rabim, is Chayav D'Oraisa. Even though he's holding the bucket in his hand, even though the bucket he hasn't done hanach on the bucket, but he's uprooted or akir on the bucket, whatever. He's nevertheless taking the water. So the water from Rishus Yachid and putting down Rishus Rabim. Dalit Ashba Rishus Rabim go serve Arukh HaBar. If you have a garbage dump Rishus Rabim and it's 10 by 4. If it's of the masses, it's a public dump. Mutzis okla min Rishus Yachid, carve like and toss something from into Rishus Yachid, which is near it. Carve mamish, which is very close to it. I feel even if it's not arcing 110 fucking to the air. Even if it's a little bit distant, im ain sham dal fucking there aren't 4 fucking of a gap. But it's kind of like a board, the same parameters like a board. If it's more than 4 fucking away from the Rishus Yachid, so you have to arc it above 10 fucking. And we're not concerned in this case that you might roll out of the ashba to Rishus Rabim, and you're going to come to carry it. Because normally they don't throw into a garbage dump heap only things which are disgusting. Things you don't need at all. Like broken vessels, so you're not going to come to carry them. I mean, ashba but if the garbage dump is a private one, you can't toss things there. This is the garbage dump belongs to an individual. It's frequently emptied out. So I guess a garbage dump in the masses, which reminds them for a long time. Since you're habituated, you'll come to toss things there even after the ashba is removed, and it's no longer Rishus Yachid because the dimensions of 10 high heap by 4 by 4 no longer exist. Today, when I guess even 120 years ago, when the Malchus is, the government is meticulous that you should not have a garbage dump in Rishus Rabim, and they make you take it away. It's obvious you can't even toss something to a garbage dump in the masses because it might be taken away any time, any day. This is a hole which it's a horizontal hole, to which you lift up water from water, and the law of a toilet on top of the water. If you have a hole above the water, which is again like a horizontal hole, you can't fill up water through it on Shabbos. Unless it has a wall 10 tefachim high. Whether above the hole or below the hole. This is what it means. Seas and rivers are karmelis, like we saw already. So you're not allowed to fill up water from a river which goes by the wall of a house. When there's a window in the wall, alone take the water into the house through the window. The metalto karmelis because taken for the karmelis of the river, it's Rishus Yachid. So then we have something which juts out from the wall, which is by the window, which is called the gzustra. Which is a plank or some sort of structure on the water. If it was not directly by the window, it's also karmelis if it's 4 tvachim wide. I'm sorry. Since it's a karmelis, you can take from the water to the gzustra. The matakshi etzachol, but now that's by the window. And from the window they're using the straw. Now it's like a whole rishus yachid. So it has halach rishus yachid. Also, taltum mitachol mayim. You can't carry from it into the water and vice versa. Koshkini ba'atzma gavoa asor rachav arba. Certainly, if it's a structure hanging there midair, which is 10 by 4 by 4, to have atzma rishus yachid that in and of itself is a rishus yachid. But normally, the gzusra itself is not 10 tefachim high. It's only rishus yachid because of the window which is next to it. The Bir Halacha writes that those are going to hold that even if it's 4 by 4, it's still makom ptur. And he brings down to some Rishonim said the gzusra which is above the water, high 10 tefachim, if it's 4 by 4, and on top of the rishus yachid, even though it doesn't have walls underneath. Nevertheless, the Tosfos Shabbos said that even though according to those Rishonim, we're allowed to take water from below onto the top of the gzusra, because even though it's just the right, so it still has a din karmelis in terms of tiltul to take. So therefore, you take from the true karmelis of the water to the fake karmelis, so to speak, of the gzusra. Okay, so be that as it may, but now we have to find out how we can actually draw water. So based on what can you do in order to admit drawing water from the gzusra, bring it to the house through the window? They said to make a wall 10 tefachim high around the gzusra, or to make a hole in the gzusra, which is 4 by 4. The pachas we say if it's less than this, it doesn't work. The chol mechitza she lepachas mi arba tefachim, any mechitza which is for less than 4 tefachim orach v'rochav, lav shema mechitza. It's not called a wall. It has to have at least 4 by 4 in between. Vatam pashun. The reason is obvious. The mechitza tzarich lios rishus. Mechitza has to be for a domain. Pachas mi dal have a makom tur. Less than 4, it's not a domain. It's a makom tur. The poskim are cousins to say the mechitza pachas mi arba. The mechitza is less than 4. When we melech shasum mechitza gazu kavah asor v'rochav arba. But if they make such a wall, which is 10 by 4 by 4, it's all rishus yachid. Even the water below the gzustra. Normally we don't say good aches mechitza. Walls can stand down. We'll see in the next sif. But the bayis derech chalon. And then if you can take water through that open box and take it into the house. The rishus yachid can metalta. Take it from rishus yachid to rishus yachid. Gimel, if you're going to ask, how can the water underneath this gzusra be rishus yachid? If a wall doesn't get reaches in 3 feet on the ground, have the mechitza shegdoim bokim bo. It's a wall through which the kid goats have access. It's not called a wall. Koshkein kind of certainly here. This gzusra is hanging me there way above the water. And then Chazal. So this Chazal addresses it said Kalu Shekilu Chachomim Mamayim. Chachomim relaxed the rules when it comes to water, which is so essential. They allowed a dangling wall to be considered a wall. You can't make a wall to the riverbed, or certainly to the bed of a lake or a sea. They will lean with the mechitza, which is just 10 tefachim high. I feel the mechitza even if it's hanging there. They came in the karmelis of the rabbanon, because since the karmelis is the rabbanon, they could relax the prohibition when they wanted to. They're the ones forbade. Carrying from Tammuz to Shus Yachid. They said it's okay if you have a hanging mechitza. That what you learned in our Mishnah. That's what we learned in our Mishnah. The wall, when it comes to work, can be on top or below. The wall can be on top of the hole of the gzustra. It can be below the wall of the gzustra. But down push. The reasons are simple. Even they below, it's still distant from the water. But there's the one case which you say good achis mechitza, the wall goes down. We look at it as if the wall reaches the top of the end of the water. So if anyway we have to relying on lead and see what difference does it make the walls on top or below the glustra. So we can also say in this case, even though it's not necessarily the same thing, because the board itself might be kind of a hefsek, but again, it's part of the couch kilu mind. Came to time mechitza in mind. Avram lo pirishkin. Avram doesn't hold this way. He says that milamala means underneath the glustra. The parish Rashi has Rashi to explain the mata. Well, the mata is show the mata lamayim. And the mata means below on the surface of the work. Neged negav glustra, opposite the whole of the glustra. From being a good asik mechitza, and I can say good asik mechitza going up. Mechila mechitzos olos olin ad glustra. As if the walls are going up all the way to the glustra. But two Rishonach Rashi, two Rishonach wrote that Rashi. Of course, according to Rambam, if the walls on top of the glustra wouldn't work, but according to Rashi, they do. Hey, because of the also the game shows mechitzos. Once they made walls, you're allowed to toss things out through the glustra. To throw the sewage of the house on neck of a glustra to the whole of that glustra. This is a bigger chiddush than drawing water. When you toss things out with force and they fall in the water down below the glustra, they're going to float that further downstream. Very distant from the glustra. Nevertheless, it's not like born from Shusiyot to the karmas. It's not going directly into the karmas. It's going to Shusayachid, and only then, by his strength, in other words, by his indirect application of strength, you don't see karmas go to the karmas. The koch of karmas, like I say, they're not goes on your indirect koch in the karmas. But yes, because those right it's even okay if it's adjacent to a puddle which qualifies as shus rabin. Because your kavanah is not to take it out to sewage out to shus rabin. Vemish came Mashma Rashi, but this is Ervin. Seems that way from the Rashi does an Ervin. Ava any movement, but this is not understandable. My Mashi coming also see what difference make does that come on to put it to take out shus rabin. But secretion is inevitable. So which is inevitable is considered to be a ma'aser. Love of secretion. So they have to say something because when it's not secretion, it's not inevitable. Maybe they won't go out. But there he says quite explicitly in the Rambam that it's only where there's a karmas involved. Shikosavi writes, just like you can fill up from there, so too you can pour down from there. Because they're pouring into a karmas ad kan l'shono. Because Magli Mishnah Kol B'Karmelis Lo Gazlu. Because there's no zera on Kocho by Karmelis. Chenkos Avarik B'Verin Shom B'Shem Rabbeis of Ayin Shom. That's what the Ritva says in the name of his Rabbein. But in Sivav, which we'll see in Mr. Shem tomorrow, there is a great difficulty with this, as we shall see.